Hi there. This is the campy choreographer here with my review of Ruthless. The version that I watched is the 2018 West End revival production that's currently streaming on Broadway HD. Now, darling, you can't even begin to talk about Ruthless without talking about camp. And the definitive definition of camp came from Susan Sontag in her 1964 Notes on Camp. Here's what she said. The essence of camp is its love of the unnatural, of artifice and exaggeration. Camp taste is above all a mode of enjoyment, of appreciation, not judgment. Camp is generous. It wants to enjoy. Camp is the consistently aesthetic experience of the world. It incarnates a victory of style over content, aesthetics over morality, of irony over tragedy. The whole point of camp is to dethrone the serious. The ultimate camp statement, Susan Sontag tells us, is it's good because it's awful. If you're still confused, Andy Warhol is camp. Bowling shoes worn with an evening gown are camp. Lady Gaga wearing a meat dress, that's camp. So let's talk about this campy mess that is Ruthless. First, the plot. Well, it's simply awful. There's dramatic foreshadowing, and then there's, come on, darling, get on with it already. It's almost impossible to give a short synopsis of this plot. So, Judy Denmark, an unremarkable, we think, suburban mother, has a talented daughter, Tina, who's being pursued by an aggressive manager, Sylvia St. Croix. Tina's cast as an understudy in her school play, Pippi in Tahiti. Without giving away too many spoilers, Sylvia turns out to be Judy's missing mother who had faked her own death by swimming out to sea after a bad review written by the woman who would end up becoming Judy's adoptive mother. Judy reclaims her birthright as Ginger DeMarco and ends up a Broadway star, while Tina languishes in juvie for killing the girl who took her part of Pippi, the part she thought she deserved. Judy slash Ginger is terrible at recognizing faces, and she doesn't even realize that Sylvia is actually her deceased Broadway star mother until painfully far into Act Two. Nor does she recognize the mother of the girl her daughter killed, who shows up to be her assistant but is really gunning for her own star on Broadway. And I do mean gunning. And when Tina is released from juvie, well, there are just too many divas for one penthouse. And sweetie, let the bloodshed begin. Confused? You should be. This plot did not come from Pulitzer Prize winning material. But as terrible as the plot is, there are design elements that are simply gorgeous. The set for Act One, it looks like an old black and white suburban sitcom set transformed into Technicolor. The set reflects Judy's wholesome mother image in this act. And in Act Two, it is transformed into a moody diva penthouse, dimly lit, reflecting Judy's transformation to the dramatic Ginger, Broadway star, and lousy mother. The costumes are, without a doubt, to die for. These women play divas and dress like them too. And Tina's adorable with her little ankle socks and starched crinolines. These women dance in ankle strap heels, which is terribly painful to do. And Judy slash Ginger's dance dress with the beaded hem in Act Two is to die for. And she does. Somehow they also manage to make the lighting look cartoonish and pop art as well. It brings out the yellows and greens with the splashes of pink in the opening scene. It's beautiful. Now, the physicality of the actors. There's not so much as a casual pinky in this production. Every movement, every head turn is affected and stylized. No one exits stage left. They strut, they chasse, they sweep. The entire show is choreographed to within an inch of its life. It is beautiful and exhausting. Which brings me to the cast. The production is billed as an all-female cast. However, in the original, the producers had a young drag queen audition who blew away the competition and snagged the part of Sylvia St. Croix. And although the show is still billed as an all-female cast, it has now become traditional to cast a male in the part of Sylvia St. Croix. And the version that I watched, Jason Gardner, was perfect. He was Ethel Merman meets Joan Crawford meets RuPaul's Drag Race. Just perfection. Just as everyone else in this production is perfect for the first hour. Then it's just old. As my friend Polonius says, this is too long. Every number is belted with the intensity of the last 30 seconds of La Vie Boheme. Every one. Darling, I'm exhausted. Leave yourself somewhere to go, please. Anya Evans is a perfect Tina with talent to match her homicidal drive. And Kim Maresca plays the perfect Mary Tyler Moore, oh, Rob, housewife, with as much energy as she does her Liza Minnelli diva in Act 2. Speaking of which, the references in this show. The actresses channel all the great icons, including Lucille Ball, Bea Arthur, even Vivian Lee. Judy/Ginger spouts a, "With God as my witness, neither my daughter nor I shall ever appear on Broadway again," a la Scarlett, if she'd been a Broadway star. Other movie references and inspirations include Gypsy, The Bad Seed, Mame, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and All About Eve. Honestly, you have to be over 70 years old to understand and to catch all of them. Now, speaking of All About Eve, Laura Denning, who plays both Louise, the girl who's killed over the Pippi role, and her mother, who appears as Ginger's assistant, Eve, who she doesn't recognize, and she's named Eve, in case you didn't get the All About Eve reference on your own. She knocks it out of the theater, darling, in a solo number at the top of Act 2 called A Penthouse Apartment. She was so good, I wondered why she wasn't cast as Judy. And if all the other diva references weren't enough, a final ridiculous song called An Unkie's Munkle is performed by Bernadette Peters. And it's used as a recording over the credits in the 2019 production. If you don't know Unkie's Munkle, please look it up and listen to it. My final take on Ruthless. The talent is incredible with a frenetic energy, which is needed to keep camping it up for 2 hours. But the plot is simply awful. I give it 4.5 shares, only because the performances saved it. That's the thing about camp. The worse it is, the more we love it, darling. Also, I'm the one who should have played the part of Pippi. I played that role flawlessly in 3 consecutive literary parades, and no one even knew who I was. That's why I had to carry the book with me. Thank you for watching The Campy Choreographer. Ta-ta for now.